Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of Bhagavad Gita Introductions. Let's begin. So, we are doing Bhagavad Gita Introduction. This is our session 5. We have done 4 sessions before, and today we are at page 11. We are doing page 11, 12, and 13 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is if you have the hardbound book and you are following along. Okay. Just to recap what we did in our previous session, we spoke about eternal. Eternal is something that does not have a beginning and does not have an end. We saw the difference between material nature and the living entity. Material nature is not conscious, living entity is conscious. We saw Krishna continues to be with us, like we remove these clothes and put on new clothes every day. One day we will leave this body and we go to another body, and Krishna continues to be with us in this journey. We saw material versus spiritual consciousness. Material consciousness is I want to please my senses. Spiritual consciousness is I want to please Krishna's senses. We saw making our Krishna connection stronger. How by chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can make our Krishna connection stronger. Moving on, today the agenda is we will see why was Bhagavad Gita spoken. We will see what is contaminated consciousness and also what is pure consciousness. We will see the complete whole, from where the whole universe came from. Krishna is a person and Vedic knowledge is infallible. Starting with prayers. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My dear Lord, and the spiritual energy of the Lord, kindly engage me in your service. I am now embarrassed with this material service. Please engage me in your service. Why was Bhagavad Gita spoken? Bhagavad Gita was spoken in order to help us identify the root of this body. We all know that a tree is nourished when we water the root of the tree. If we clean all the leaves of the tree but do not water the root of the tree will soon dry away. If we continue to put water on the root of the tree, the leaves, buds, flowers, fruits will automatically come. So, a wise person is to find the root of the tree and water the root of the tree to feel nourished by the tree and for the tree itself to be nourished. Now, similarly, considering this body as a tree, Bhagavad Gita helps us to identify what is the root of this body. We care for this body till the soul lives in this body. Once the soul leaves the body, we don't care about the body. So, first thing to learn is what is the root of this body, and then understand how to water the root of the body. And then move from a conditioned consciousness to a pure consciousness. That is the reason why Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Krishna made Arjuna as his disciple and student in order to teach us the basics of human life. Let's see what is a pure consciousness. A purified consciousness is a consciousness when one is acting in accordance with the instruction of the Lord. After the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, Krishna asked Arjuna, "Are you now in pure consciousness?" Meaning, are you now in a position to act in a way that you are able to follow my instruction? So, this is the reason why Bhagavad Gita was spoken. And this is what we are trying to understand, how to live a human form of life in a way that is in accordance with the instruction of the Lord. That's our goal. Where are we today? Today, our consciousness is contaminated. And this slide helps us to understand what our contaminations are. I am the creator. The universe existed before we came into this universe. And the universe will continue to exist after we leave this universe. So, one thing for sure is I am not the creator of this universe. But we believe ourselves to be tiny creators in the sense that I earn my paycheck. The money that I earn belongs to me. And I have the ownership and proprietorship to use it the way I like. I am the enjoyer. If I buy a house, I am the owner of the house, I live in the house, I enjoy the house. Similarly, who created the universe? Krishna created the universe. To whom does the universe belong? Krishna. Who is the enjoyer of the universe? Krishna. But then I am this living entity thinking I am the creator and everything that I see in this universe I am entitled to enjoy. That is our contaminated consciousness today. The reality is Supreme Lord is the creator and He is the enjoyer. When we try to enjoy separate from Krishna, then we are in contaminated consciousness. When we are grateful for the gifts that Krishna has given us, and we are using those gifts in order to follow the instructions of Krishna, that is a purified consciousness. So, if we remove Krishna from the picture and we want to enjoy, that is contaminated consciousness. Bring Krishna into the picture and do everything in a way that is pleasing to Krishna. That is pure consciousness. Then what am I? I am a part and parcel of the Lord, a cooperator. Like, if I want to feel nourished, my hand wants to feel nourished. The hand takes the food and puts it in the mouth. The food goes to the stomach. The stomach digests the food, and from there, all the body parts feel nourished. My hand, if it wants to eat the food and enjoy by itself, that's not possible. The hand has to work to get the food, take the food to the mouth, put it in the mouth, goes to the stomach digests, and then the hand will feel nourished. That's the way of life. Similarly, if I participate and cooperate in the mission of the Lord and the Lord is satisfied, then I automatically become satisfied. If I try to independently satisfy myself, then I struggle to be satisfied, although I always find myself miserable. A very good example is pandemic that we all are going through today. Just because people live their lives the way they want, we are in a state that we are in. If we follow the rules given by God, then we will save ourselves and we will save others from a lot of trouble. And that is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Complete whole. We saw 5 basic truths in one of our sessions of Bhagavad Gita. And the 5 basic truths that the whole Bhagavad Gita talks about is the Supreme Lord, Ishvara, living entity, Jiva, material nature, Prakriti, eternal time, Kala, and Karma. Now, from where does all this come? We also classified these 5 into the category of eternal and non-eternal. From where does all this come? They all come from Krishna. He is the complete whole, and everything we see in this universe comes from him. And Krishna, or the absolute truth, is a person. And we will see 3 different aspects in which one can understand Krishna, or the absolute truth. First is Brahman, next is Paramatma, and the third is Bhagavan. Now, some people say that the absolute truth is impersonal, meaning it has no form. Everything came from light. This whole universe came from a light. And the energy, there is an energy that created this universe. Bhagavad Gita is teaching us it's a person. And the name of the person is Krishna. Now let's analyze an example and then we will come back to this concept of Krishna is a person. There was a village. In that village, the villagers had never seen a train because the village was at a remote location, not connected to the rest of the world yet. There were train tracks that were being put so the train can come to the village. Now, it was the first time a train was coming to the village on those tracks. All the villagers were gathered on the platform to see how the train looks like because they had never seen a train. The train is coming from far, if you see, towards the platform. Some of the villagers got really excited seeing the train from far, and they ran into the village to tell the other villagers how the train looks like. Their description of the train was, "Train is a light." There were some villagers that waited on the platform for the train to arrive. They could see the train is blue in color. They could see the train has so many compartments. They could see the train has different windows. The train has a door. They couldn't hold their excitement and they ran into the village to describe to others how the train looks like. Their description was, "The train is blue in color. The train has many compartments and windows." There were few other villagers who stopped at the platform, waited for the train to stop, entered the train, and saw different features of the train inside. It has seats to sit, it has handles to hold, it has some tray cabinets, and different other features of the train. Now, in this example, Prabhupada compares the first picture, the far from the train, the light, as Brahman. The second one, wherein you know a little more details, as Paramatma. And the third one, where you get to see absolute truth or God in his different features. He defined that as Bhagavan. And God realization is realization of all transcendental features in his complete form. Some people may see God as light, and that is not a complete picture of God. There is a light that's coming from God's body, but Krishna or God is not light. And the complete realization of God is the Bhagavan realization that he is a person. He is not formless. He has a form. He has everything that is in our experience and beyond our experience. So, he who has given us a form cannot be formless. Bhagavad Gita teaches us Krishna is a person and he has a form. Vedic knowledge is infallible. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. It is truth that is coming from God to us, and we are to accept the knowledge that is coming from God in disciplic succession. Now, we visited disciplic succession in one of our previous sessions, but I want to just do a quick refresh of what disciplic succession is. So, Krishna is giving us the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and we want to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita several years back, and how do I know that the knowledge that I am receiving today is the same knowledge that Krishna spoke? Any wise person will ask this question. And the answer to this question is, when the knowledge is coming to us in disciplic succession, then the knowledge is authentic. For a moment, let's go to the vedabase.com, and there we will find Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is an online copy which you can access. And if you go to Introduction, this is the section that we are reading right now. The end of the introduction has something called disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is showing us how this knowledge is traveling from Krishna to us. Krishna spoke this knowledge to Brahma. Brahma spoke this knowledge to Narada. Narada spoke this knowledge to Vyasa. Vyasa to Madhva. And so on. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is being passed on to us very carefully under the guidance of different acharyas coming to us from A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who received it from his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who received it from his spiritual master Gaur Kishore, who received it from his spiritual master Bhakti Vinod. And like this, it connects us back to Krishna. So until there is such a disciplic succession, for us to be sure that the knowledge we are receiving is the same knowledge that Krishna gave is difficult. So the presence of disciplic succession is important for us to know that the knowledge that we are receiving is the knowledge that Krishna spoke on Bhagavad Gita, making Arjuna his student. I looked up the word infallible when I read in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita that Vedic knowledge is infallible. And infallible means incapable of making mistakes. We all make mistakes, and the only person who cannot make a mistake is God. And He, being very merciful, He, in the form of Bhagavad Gita, is teaching us how to live our life in this universe that He has created. He's telling us what is our function, and He will detail for us how to perform that function. Moving on, how to water the root of this body by chanting of the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the mantra that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita for us to make a connection with Him. I will do one of the sessions to illustrate how this mantra can be chanted for those of us who are yet to start chanting. So stay tuned. But this mantra can be chanted at any time, in any state, in any condition. It's a mantra that's made public. So go ahead and explore the connection with Krishna. Every one of us is free to establish our connection with Krishna using this mantra. Just to summarize what we covered, we spoke why was Bhagavad Gita spoken. Bhagavad Gita was spoken for us to understand what is the root of this body, how to water the root of this body. Contaminated consciousness. Currently, we are in contaminated consciousness, and Bhagavad Gita spoken to help us move from contaminated consciousness to pure consciousness. The whole universe comes from Krishna. The purified consciousness is when one is able to live one's life as per the instructions of Krishna. Contaminated consciousness is I am the enjoyer, I am the creator. Purified consciousness is Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the creator, I am the cooperator. Let me see how I can cooperate in Krishna's plan. Krishna is a person. We saw three features of Krishna, or the absolute truth: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. We also saw the illustration of the train and how to connect the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan feature to the train example. Vedic knowledge is infallible because it is coming from God. It has no mistakes and it should be accepted to make our life successful and to move from contaminated consciousness to pure consciousness. Thank you all very much. This is what we have for today. Please feel free to send in any questions in the comment box if you like. Happy to be with all of you. You can text me, ping me if you have any questions. Until then, have a great weekend and a week ahead. Hare Krishna.